Hi, this is a message from my future editing self. This video went a little bit long, so I just thought I'd give you a quick breakdown of what's going to be in it. So there's going to be the magical unboxing, and then sort of a review of the materials, and then there's going to be a demo at the end, and interspersed with a commentary on the materials is actually a little bit of information regarding some of my experience with similar materials and some of the things in my current 40-day challenge art journal. So stay tuned for all of that, and hopefully I'll have some timestamps down below so you can skip around if that's your jam. So without further ado, the unboxing. So I'm a bit of a cave dweller, hi, and I ventured outside to get the mail, which I procrastinate bigly, but what I found was totally worth it. My art box arrived. I totally splurged on a 3-month art box. Kind of this time of year is usually difficult, like end of January, early February. I have no idea why. And also my birthday happens to be in the earlier parts of February. So I decided I was going to give myself something to look forward to, which is the 3-month Sketchbox. My coordination is a little fail, but anyway, so I watched a bunch of unboxing videos and was really fascinated by the idea of an art box. A little less fascinated by the price. However, if you get 3 months of an order, they kind of chop a little bit of the price off, so I figure I'll just try it and see if I can totally live without it afterwards. I'll just treat it like a fun kind of one-time thing and I'll cancel it. But if I truly love it and it enriches my life, which I don't know, maybe it will, maybe it won't, but I could always keep it on. There's probably better things to spend money on, but I really like the idea of trying new supplies that I wouldn't necessarily know to get myself or that might not be in my local shops. The thing that made me really laugh about this particular box and the cover art is I have a slight obsession with cacti and succulents, and to prove it, here is my 40-day art journal that I've been working on, and here was 2 little studies that I did. Here's a little succulent done in Prismacolor marker, and I realized I do a similar style when using watercolor, and this little guy is watercolor. This was way in the beginning, day 9. Fast forward, we're now on day 30. I guess day 30, and that was jellyfish apparently. Today's day 31, I haven't done my art for that, but day 27, I did some more cacti. Now, this journal paper is crap for watercolor. The visual journal, it's really not ideal for watercolor. However, if you don't have a super wet water brush, like I was trying to use, it's not enough to make you want to end yourself. But this I used the Holbein water brush, and it's a really nice brush. The bristles are soft, it's kind of fun to use, but it lays down a ton of water, and yeah, I quickly questioned my life decisions. I fought with this thing for 42 minutes, and it was a very simple study. This really could have been way better, way easier. I could have done this in like 10 minutes, but I couldn't because of the water brush. So every time I laid down water, it just pooled on the surface and went blah, and I spent the whole time trying to fix every little thing I did. However, the other water brush, the Kuretake, was really not so bad, and I could layer things. I used the Schmincke watercolor set for both, and I really enjoy using that one. but more so when I don't use a super wet water brush on this paper. So, getting to the reason of the video, the art box, and the fact that I have no, wait, I have crapola everywhere. What you can't see off screen is the absolute disaster of everything around this area, which I need to clean up. I just kind of went off the desk. So, we've got one of my favorite colors. It's bright aqua. Oh, so excited! I've been waiting for this thing forever. Okay, so a sketch template to apparently draw an awesome 3D. I'm not really sure how much I'll use this or how many toasters I'm going to be drawing, but it's bright neon green, which is always good. Ooh, I actually do not have this, which is amazing because I have like every liner known to man. So this is a Strathmore 3.3 liner in brown, which is not necessarily a color I would think to use, but I can always start. Here's our art card, which is very interesting looking. And let's see, this is the cheat sheet, so I'm not gonna look at that yet. We have, ooh, okay, something else I've never heard of and I don't have, a tech liner by Alvin and the Chipmunks, 0.5. I don't know if the camera got that. There we go. The other one is waterproof. This one does not say whether it is. It's a standard kind of nib. I don't know if this is focusing. This is a 5. We'll test the water fastness shortly. Ooh, haha. Okay, so my favorite ink pen right now is the Tombow Funosuke because it's waterproof, marker proof, just everything proof, and it's just super awesome. And they sent me another one. If this is anything like the one I have, this is like just gonna be the awesomest. Okay, so it's gray, and this would actually look really good with watercolor for when, say, you're doing jellyfish and you want them to look ephemeral and not like hard lined. You want them to be glowy. Okay, so it doesn't say that it's waterproof, but we'll test it. Art supplies. Okay, so this is a fine liner set. They might be markers. They might also be impossible to open. So Sketchbox Signature, they're a 0.4 millimeter. They are a standard nib. It just says fine liner markers with alcohol-based ink. We'll see how those do. They could possibly be paired with watercolor. Who's to say? Oh, another Funosuke. Haha. I really hope that these are waterproof because that would really be the best. If not, it will be a little sad. So we have this bright purple. If nothing else, they're really nice to use, and I don't know, maybe colored pencil would be a good thing to pair them with. Oh, okay. One of my least favorite animals is octopi. So unfortunately, I've got an octopi, and while I totally am on board with all the legs and all the art supplies. My little octave friend freaks me out a bit. I guess there's worse things, but not many. Okay, I've heard about the chameleon changeable markers. I kind of think they're gimmicky, to be honest, but I have not seen these tiny ones, especially not with, look at that nib. It's like the smallest nib ever. Yeah, that's really weird. So this is the fine liner box apparently, which I'm about to like dump all over myself. There we go. Chameleon fine liners. So let's see what the instructions say. I'm familiar with the large markers, which they have this kind of converter piece that you stick the two ends on and it lets the color go in between. I don't know, it just, I guess maybe it's fun if you're like a crafty type person, but I feel if you're just seriously trying to like get some art done, that you don't want gimmicks, you just want like straightforward stuff to just create with. You're not looking to fiddle with things. Okay, so yeah, this is totally our kind of gimmicky whatever. Like seriously, if you're trying to make artwork, you really want to sit there and put your markers together and wait for like 30 seconds to get a color changing thing. Wouldn't you just blend? Maybe that's just me. So yeah, they're all like, doodle, create, the world is your oyster. You need our special gimmicky markers to create something. You have no value as an artist unless you use gimmicks. Or maybe if you just find that fun. I don't know. It just, I don't see the point. But that's okay. And that was our box. I will now give this to my cats to play with because, to be honest, they're going to get to it anyway. And let's see what our actual card says. This is by Diego Penuela, an artist from Bogota, Colombia, currently living and working in Atlanta. That's where I'm at. Well, props to you, Diego. I like your work. Ooh, he is inspired by books, poetry, music, graphic novels, and anything that allows him to explore the close and complex relationship between words and images. His work is also informed by his Latin American identity and the need to find connection between that and his personal experience as an artist living in the USA. He's done a bunch of stuff and he's in a bunch of galleries and things, and here's his info if you are interested in the Instagram. Now, I like this picture because it reminds me of sort of Native American or Indian work, just with not really classical colors, but also South American Indians, like the Aztec and people like that, but the colors are very, I don't know, they're very extra. They remind me of something, but I can't think of what. Backed by popular demand, we have our sketchbook fine liners. They're a hot ticket, so we developed an additional 12 colors, and we went towards a more bold floral forward palette. Each tip is sized at 0.4 millimeters, allowing for precise line work and detail. They're made with alcohol-based inks, so they play well with all of your favorite illustration markers. These are supposedly $16. The chameleon markers. These guys are a set of 6. Retail price $11.99, new and custom. Color blend gimmick technology. That allows you to create a seamless blend between colors. But if you had high quality markers and marker paper, you could totally do that on your own. We partnered with Chameleon to make this custom set of their fine liners that are curated to work well with our signature set. Which is great, but they're all fine liners, so how many fine liners do you need to fine line a picture? I don't know. $11.99. Okay. I would not have bought those for myself or for anyone, to be honest, but that's okay. Tombow Fudonosuke, gray and purple. Retail price $3.49 each, and at least for the waterproof one, totally worth it. Let's see, flexible brush nib for writing and drawing techniques. This is totally true. And yes, they are pressure sensitive and amazing. The real question is the waterproof ability, and I'm going to check that. Then we have the Strathmore pigment liner. Ooh, $5.10, that seems a little hefty. Sketching landmark drawing, has a metal tip that makes it ideal for use with ISO sketch, whatever that is. What I will say is that I love the texture on this barrel. It's really fine lines, like you don't even notice really that it's a texture. Come on, camera. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a great texture. It's very nice. It doesn't feel cheap. It's like if you would have the texture of wood, but like really fine grain wood, and then almost unnoticeable, and that's what it is. So this is supposed to be all the extra of like waterproof and light fast and everything, and it doesn't say that for the Tombow, so we'll find out. And then the tech liner, they keep talking about ISO sketch and I don't know what that is. The fine liner by Alvin and the Chipmunks is extremely fine polyacetyl plastic nib set in a stainless steel sleeve for smudge-free inking and repeated use with the ISO sketch. This thing might be the ISO sketch. Yes, this is the ISO sketch. I really don't feel any need to use this at all. But apparently I can sketch a perfect cube in 5 easy steps. But I'm sorry, drawing skills would let you draw a cube as well, and it wouldn't necessarily take 5 steps or very long. But you know, maybe some people struggle with cubing and they need the help. So it's supposed to make drawing in 3D perspective much easier, and there's a ton of awesome built-in features to assist with all sorts of isometric drawing tasks. And I just want to call out Sketchbox for you see my markers here, my Prismacolor markers, which I love, and there's none of those in here. And then the Copic markers, and there's none of those in here. Why? I want markers. I mean, fine liners are good and all, but what am I gonna draw with just fine liners? And maybe 2 markers if you consider the Fudonosuke markers? I don't know. Anyhow, I will check that waterproofness and get back to you. Okay, so I have done some swatches on the back of my journal. Some bright colors over here to make it stand out from all my other ink tests. And I have some right along here. So I'm going to go ahead and film the water and Prismacolor marker test, and hopefully we have some good results. Okay, here we are. We're gonna test all our swatches. I put the little octo friend here, and I'll just try and get over the fact that he's an octopus, because, I mean, I really like the drawing otherwise, and at least he's not, like, too gross of an octo. But anyway, I'll be done with this journal in probably about 10 days, so he won't be in my face for long. I really do like that they included a sticker also. Yeah, I'm running out of room in here, but I basically have rationed out my pages as if I am starving back in the Great Depression, and I only have half a page per day to finish out my 40-day challenge. So we have to make do with the little nooks and crannies here. But what I have is I use Prismacolor markers a lot, and I do have Copics. However, I don't want to travel with them because they're like really expensive, and I don't want anything to happen to them. And when I got these originally, they have these awesome brush tips, so it's almost like using a Copic marker anyway. Copic. So yeah, I picked this very light color so we can really see if there's any drag on the ink. This is called Mint Cream. It's a brand new color I just got, and I freaking love it. It's like so useful. We'll start right here, and I'll try and zoom in to get a little closer. Never mind, I tried zooming in and it looked like butt. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do the do with the markers, and I will at the end show you how each of these did by holding it up where you can see it really well. First off, we have the Aladdin Tech liner, and this one seems to bleed a little bit, so I would not recommend using them for Prismacolor markers on this paper at least. Different papers can have differing results, so just keep that in mind. For instance, some of the ones that are completely waterproof on this paper are not on other papers, and vice versa. Like the Zig marker, it's completely and entirely waterproof on other papers, just not this. So we have the Staedtler. Ooh, okay, absolutely not. Big old X for that. Then the Tombow. And nope. I'll show you the results of that. So at least with the purple, I am seeing some color moving. The gray, it's not as noticeable, but I think that's just because the mint cream and the gray tone are not that different. So far, none of these are good for that. We have the Sketchbox fine liners, which I think are okay. And the chameleons, let's look at those up close. They look like if they are having any sort of change, it's negligible, so they both seem fine for that, which is nice. And now for the water test, and this is really interesting for me, at least, because I like to do mixed media. I either do markers or I do watercolor, and it really is nice if I have the option. So that is a big no on the signature fine liners. However, you could technically use these, like some people use the big Tombow markers, which I'm not a fan of, but only in the instance of I got a black one to be a liner, and it is absolutely wretched for that. But if you were trying to do this, you know, you could actually do basically watercolor painting with these markers. So I'll probably try that. And okay, so the chameleon liners are water soluble as well, but I really don't like them, especially because if you can see, sorry for the shadows, but this is very highly pigmented, so it looks intentional, and this just sort of, I don't know, disappears. I'm really not wild about those. I'm sure there's an application where they might excel, but I don't know that any of the ones I would try would be that. And let's see, we have the Aladdin Tech liner. it fades. It doesn't completely lose itself, but it does fade. So that's not ideal. Also, you're gonna have some kind of grayish water happening there. The Staedtler, for all its talk about how waterproof it is, at least on this paper, you get the ghosting of the brown, but you also get fade. So between those two things, I would not recommend that whatsoever. The Tombow has a little tiny bit of purple movement, but it's so faint that I think you'd be totally fine using it. And the gray, the gray disappears. What the heck? All right, I'm gonna try the same motion. Okay, apparently if you want a permanent color, purple is your girl. And if you just want your color to completely fade on you, gray is your girl. These are just really weird results. And again, they could vary on another paper, but I would not recommend any of these. None at all, none. Except perhaps this one. And I don't know how much cause you'll have to need a purple fine liner. Perhaps for calligraphy. And again, I really don't care for these chameleon markers, despite the fact that I like their packaging and their logo and chameleons in general. I just would not recommend these. These have more promise. These seem a little more versatile. Now, I didn't really talk about this, but the chameleon markers, I do like the packaging. They have this sort of triangle shape. They've got the cute little chameleon. The plastic has a slightly matte feel. I mean, they feel like quality. They feel nice. I just don't know what the heck anyone would use these for. And then here's the other thing. Watch this. The cap is like as big as the dang marker. Like, what's even in here, guys? But look, they don't roll. So if you actually want them on your desk, you can't get rid of them. Now, looking at these again, I don't remember if the cap... Okay, the cap is like containing the color. All right, and you have to store them with the right cap, which makes sense. I don't think you have to store these with the cap up or anything fancy. Oh, no, you have to store them horizontally. But you can also store them upside down to completely recharge the caps. Ugh, these are so high maintenance. You know, people are high maintenance, and that's more allowed. But why do you want high maintenance art supplies? Like, does it give you joy? Is that like how some people love fussy laundry, so they can just fuss with it and fiddle with it and it just makes them happy for some reason? And yes, I knew people that really felt that way, and it makes no sense to me, but they do exist. They loved, the fussier the better. They wanted to hand wash things and this and this and this, and they would do at least a load of laundry every day. It made them happy. It was relaxing, and I think they need a different hobby, but to each his own. Yeah. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that since this was created with some of these supplies, that it was these, because these have the nice watercolor effect. I guess they could have used the chameleon liners for something. I just really, I think it would just take you longer to do anything, but this has all these different colors in it. I think they totally could have made all of this like they did. Perhaps they used the chameleon marker just like right here in the orange. I don't know. Oh, I stand corrected, because there is no yellow. we have a flesh tone. And might I add that having no color names, just a color number, is sort of hard for some people who aren't number people. We have PK5, which I'm assuming is the pigment number, and that's great, but what's our common name, people? Like hot raspberry, obscenely bright lipstick? I mean, what color are you? What is your identity? We have a new name 3, a sort of weird peach color, and we have another peachish color with no real name. So I guess you could use these for skin tones, but I mean, geez, you could just use a marker or use some watercolors and be done with it. What is all this color changing business? So revising my initial thing, I think perhaps they only used it right here because that is actually a flesh tone, and I mean, props, this is beautiful artwork, but I cannot imagine the annoyance of doing it with at least these guys. So there you have it. That is the art box, and I will see if I can create a little something using the materials. Okay, we're back with some hot press watercolor paper, which means it will be super smooth and give us a nice surface for drawing. So I'm going to attempt to create something upon this to demonstrate the capabilities or the non-capabilities of our materials. While I drink some coffee, here is one of my recent ink tests of a bunch of different things, which will become its own video. Probably I'm going to break it up by each individual marker, fine liner across a bunch of different papers to give you an idea of what it does in general. And then my other thought is to do reviews by paper, just showing basically what a lot of these different things do and picking out the best options for these papers, because that might narrow down what papers you decide to use, or conversely which markers or fine liners you want to buy. All right, so let's put this back up here and be our inspiration for how not to fail. Now, I think you're supposed to be able to use some of these together. This one didn't do well in water. Never mind. I don't think any of those did well in water. And we have no black. So we can use a pencil. That's just a generic poppy. Again, sorry for the lighting. I've been buying art supplies instead of lighting supplies. I also need to do some more research. You know, there's only so much you can do with researching because there's a lot of stuff out there. I've mostly been researching art supplies, so lighting supplies is kind of not been on the list, although it needs to be. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. Oh geez, I love how there's no green in here. There's kind of this teal color, but that's really not green. And I don't know that it will make much of a green if I mix it together. And then this isn't really a regular blue. But I'll see if I can mix it kind of like you can mix watercolors. We'll find out. Green just seems a really basic color to have, at least for markers. I'm not totally sure what they were thinking. Alright, and I'm going to see what this looks like. Interesting. Alright, water time. Okay, so it does sort of color mix a bit. So there's that. Although you definitely retain the line work aspect, so if that's not really what you like, you might not be too wild about this. Now, I thought these were going to lose more of their, I don't know, the lines. I thought it would mush more, like some of the pens, like the regular Tombow markers, totally lose hold of themselves and the lines disappear. But here, that is not the case. So if you were expecting that, so sorry. Please try again. And next, I think I'm going to try a jellyfish. And our jellyfish, he is going to start off with a bigly bright pink, because why not? I'm largely going to keep the jelly himself a whitish color, but you need little pops of color. And keeping in mind that the shape of your lines counts, I'm kind of just recreating my jellyfish from earlier since I have the shape down. Go. And we have to have little touches of blue. Wow, that is like the bluest blue of them all. Okay, so we're gonna be gentle with that color. It would have been nice if some of these colors were a touch less dark. Okay, and the water's gonna be fun, so alright, I'm gonna try your classic crosshatch. Because, I mean, there's not a whole lot of options here. I think jellyfish are really cool, and I must admit that those ones yesterday were my first ones. And it was very late at night, as usual, for my challenge. And I wasn't really sure where everything was going, how it would turn out overall, if I wasn't making some grievous mistake trying once again to use watercolor on that paper, which I was being a total masochist about that. However, I was trying something different each time, so I wasn't like total foobar masochist. And my perseverance was rewarded because I had a workable picture this time using the different brand of water brush. So let's do a little bit there. Alright, that is looking like a proper jellyfish, I guess. I'll give him a little yellow just for some more color pops, because why not? We need our jellyfish to be rainbow tasm. just... Okay, in hindsight, that blue is super intense. I think you almost have to maybe work in layers. I don't know, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, that blue's so intense, it kind of mutes all the other colors. Makes them a bit muddy. And we wanted some bright, happy day glow colors here. I mean, it could still turn out okay. If anything I've learned from that art challenge is you can feel like you're messing it up the entire time and you're on the verge of ruining it. Like the entire time is all an exercise in managing the fact that you're continually ruining a piece. But it's fine, you know, it's okay because they're fast, so even if you ruin it, well, okay, hydrophobic marker. Yeah, so even if you're ruining it, it's fine because you almost have an expectation that everything is going to be terrible. So when things turn out okay, you're like pleasantly surprised that they're not terrible. Yeah, I mean, this is cool, but this whole time I'm like, I really just want to be doing this in watercolor. Like doing this in watercolor on its own would be like very relaxing, I think. And this is just like, I don't know. The thing that I do like about this, however, is it's very much, if you like working with line work and watercolor together, this is kind of like a nice shortcut to do both, where you lay your color in and then this is like one of those coloring books with the dots and you just kind of whatever. But wow, this is like such an extra looking rainbow tasm jellyfish. Oh my god. Yeah, so the one downside is you kind of have to have all your colors planned out initially because you can't go back. As you saw me try to do, I tried to lay in a little bit more blue. Well, sorry, you can't. So yeah, these lines are gonna stay pretty significant, so make sure that you do them in a way that is fashionable, and yeah, you're totally married to your line work. Alright, what else could we draw with these guys? God, that is the pinkest thing I've ever seen. Off the top of my head, let's see, what's purple? Aside from grapes. I don't know, let's try an isometric drawing, since that tool they gave us said that we don't know how to do this on our own. Well, surprise, there you go, isometric shape. And for fun, let's give it a shadow as if it's sitting on a surface. We don't want to clash our eyeballs out, so I'll just choose this color here. And let's do, yeah, orange needs to happen. Orange is a good color, although not very popular with most people. I agree there's some colors that are less than ideal, but orange has its place. Orange is underestimated. I don't mean the orange that's in pumpkin basic lattes, because that's kind of a different animal. But you know, to each his own. So there we go, there's sort of a spherical thing there. And we'll do one of those fun shadows that is darker at the base of the object. So we'll go with the lighter color first. It's a rather nice purple, really. If it was actual watercolor, I'd be very happy with it. Alright. I mean, overall, I think these are pretty fun to use. Oh wow, look, a happy accident. I am channeling Bob Ross right now. Alright, here's our sphericalness. Looking good. Now, I think you could layer in some of a darker tone in there, but it's too late now. You have to like be psychic to do these. You have to know exactly what you're doing at any given moment. Oh look, more accidental. Maybe it's sitting next to a puddle of water. Maybe that's why that happened. It's a sphere next to a puddle. Some child is playing with blocks in the rain, and we are getting both reflectionness and shadow. Right. And no isometric drawing would be complete without a square. Yeah, I messed that up a little bit, but I don't care. This one is floating in the air. So we're gonna do the white one first. This is so surreal to have the lines and have them all be colored like this and still showing through. I mean, partly because I've been working it with markers for the last month. But yeah. Yeah, definitely some cool effects. Now, I'm gonna do some color mixing just because I feel like that's something important to show. So I'm gonna grab some of the colors I haven't used yet, which, ugh, not really my favorite. Okay, so this is the lighter color. We're just gonna color this whole shape in this color. I don't know what this is. It's like a little bean, I guess. Just a weird sort of shape that I want to make 3D. Because why not? Now the light source is probably on this end, in which case that should have been very light, but yeah, I didn't do that. Alright, our bean is complete. Got our floating space bean. Some of these colors definitely seem to blend better than others. Like this purple is being kind of stubborn here. Although it was so lovely up here. So maybe the problem child is the lighter pink color. I don't know. Alright, what else do we need? Okay, we need to try these markers that I don't want to try, so we'll do that next. And again, results may vary depending on your paper. What can you even do with this arrangement of colors? I mean, there's not a yellow, a red, or an orange. Like, what really would you draw with these? Certainly not that. That yellow is absolutely from the other set. And I'm amazed that he got a green to come out of there. That's very good work. Alright, so let's just say we're trucking along. And we do a face. These markers don't feel all that juicy. And they draw, but this person has a weird sort of ness about them. Oh, pro tip, don't drag your hand through the wet paint. Yeah, sorry, Bean. The cosmic bean is cosmically smudged. Okay, so we're gonna give this dude or dudette some hair, some green hair. Some like massive kind of hair. It would be really nice to have a dark color. Yeah, I still can't tell if this is a dude or a dudette, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to give them a base skin tone of the only color I have. And these are probably going to be like the other ones where you have to lay down all your color before you even get near it with the water, or else you're done until it dries. So, okay. I should probably give them a shirt or something. It is layering like halfway decently, I guess. But I mean, it could be better. A little shading here. Oh my goodness. I guess we have to pick an eye color now too. And possibly do some eyebrow surgery. That's good enough. Okay, so we're very limited on colors here, but say I wanted to give them, I don't know, purple eyes, I guess. Let's see if I'm doing this right. Timing this. Wow, that's really pink. Super pink, still pink. Like, oh my god, this sucked up a lot of pink. I could make like a little monster out of this hairball that has transpired. Look at it, it's the evil dust bunny. And still, this is pink. Where is my blue? Oh my god, look. It's blue. It's just not blue. That was not 30 seconds. I don't care what anyone says. It was not 30 seconds. Okay, now we're getting to purple. That is just ridiculous. All right, we've got these purple dead eyes. That's awesome. Apparently we're gonna go for some purple lippage as well. And I'm gonna pop in some shadows while I have a shadow color for like 2 seconds. Oh my god, this is stressful. This is stressful, Chameleon. I don't know why you thought this was a good idea. Don't like it. I'm not a fan, in case you couldn't tell. Talk about like, what about color consistency too? Like, how could you possibly be color consistent? You can't. It's not possible. Let's lay in some shadows here. All right, I think we're solidly back to blue now. That's good. please comment below and tell me why and for what and for how you would use these markers, because I would like to know. This dudette girl, oh god, I put the pink back on. No! No! Oh my god. Okay. Tragedy averted. Oh my god. Alright. Gonna go back to green. Man, you have one mistake and like you're gonna be paying for it. I think this is gonna be a total waste of marker. I mean, look at that. And it's just to get to the color I want. This is not sustainable, people. This is not sustainable art supplies. This is just something else. Alright, let's put some good sideburns in there. Yeah, this is gonna be fun when we add water. Alright, just for giggles, we'll put a little bit of green in the shadows, because I do crap like that. Yes, I do. Okay, so we have a very colorful dudette. Now for the moment of truth. Alright, I feel like I want to start on the hair because I want to see how that comes out. What's gonna really bite this in the butt is when I go to do the skin tone, because the water from the hair is gonna totally like race all over everything, I'm pretty sure. So I like the color so far of this sort of parrot green. Very carefully do the skin tone, knowing that at any minute this whole thing could just explode. What color did I use for this shadow? Because it is not watering properly. What did I use? Oh, that's right. I used the chameleon-ness property of the ages. Alright. Some of these are definitely blending better than others. Now, that pink color, this one, the middle pink, might have been the culprit on this, since the purple blended so nicely before, that it might be why this isn't working very well. Yeah, I think it's that color. But it's not like we have a lot of options here to just pick other colors. Again, something to be said for watercolors is you do work light to dark, but you're not like married forever under pain of death to whatever colors you did. You know, you can do lifting techniques. If you had an oops, you can put other colors in, you know, as it's still wet, or you can wait for it to dry and then add them in. It's not like this one or nothing kind of pressure that I'm definitely like feeling in this. Yeah, this is some necromancer skin tone here. Sorry, dude, bro. I'm trying not to mess you up, but I think you were messed up out of the gate. This is so fussy. Alright. That green is very appealing. Perhaps not as much as a skin tone, but I like it. Just like a little too green. But again, there's nothing we can do except maybe, I guess, a background. Nothing wrong with a random background, right? I guess you could do watercolor with this if you just like had some scribbles on the side and just kind of reached into the scribbles. Made this sort of soft color, but again, it's like you could have just done watercolors. You can get a cheap set for like, well, you can get a good cheap set for like 20 bucks. So the hair has totally escaped. I'm gonna blend it a little bit more so it looks so weird. Oh, that's annoying. So yeah, it's not gonna stay put. It is gonna run like normal watercolors. And like, look at how like smooshy everything has become. Except for the one thing I'm trying to get to be smooshy, which is this shadow area of this infernal pink. Yeah. It's the evil dust bunny's domain that will thwart all else. Alright, so there you have it. You have our weird little person. The Discordanza jellyfish. Dayglow, I'm sure. And our little isometric shapes that the ISO sketch tells us is impossible to make by hand because we all suck. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and the randomness of the art. And I have 2 more boxes on the way. I can't wait to see what comes of those. Hopefully they'll throw some markers and watercolors and stuff in there, which is totally stuff I would love to use. So until next time, peace.